What if the secret to living longer wasn't hidden in hospitals or medicine, but in the simple act of holding an apple, a handful of berries, the quiet rituals no one else notices? They say, old people just need rest. But the elderly do not fade because they grow tired. They fade because the world forgets to see them, to care for them, to feed them in ways that truly matter. Aging is not an illness. It is a slow unraveling, private and quiet. Some days, you wake and realize you have become invisible, even to those you love. Breakfast is rushed. A half-eaten banana, a bruised peach, a single blueberry rolling off the table. Once, food was a celebration. Your mother handed you an apple and said, "This will keep you strong." And you believed her because you believed in everything. Back then, you didn't count antioxidants or grams of fiber. You trusted in the small wisdoms. That a piece of fruit was proof you belonged, that you were cared for, that you were still needed. Now, as the years thin your hair and slow your steps, you wonder, is it too late to begin again? Is it possible that something so simple as fruit could give your body a reason to wake up? The world tells the old to slow down, to let the young decide what's best. Eat what you want, they say. Don't worry so much about nutrition. But your body remembers every missed meal, every silent ache, every night you went to bed hungry not just for food but for touch, for someone's gentle words. The body is a quiet bookkeeper, keeping score even when nobody else notices. You see it in the mirror, the pale lips, the trembling hands, the memory that slips away as you reach for something you can't quite name. And you think, if only someone would notice, if only someone would say, "Try this, eat, this might help." It is not hope that dies first in old age, it is appetite, not just for food, but for joy, for sweetness, for the small things that once made each day bright. You remember the first time you tasted a blueberry, that impossible burst of color, as if summer itself had been tucked inside your mouth. Or the green of avocado on toast, when you still walked to the market and picked the softest one by hand. Once, eating was not just survival but a kind of love. Love from your parents, your spouse, your children. Or just love from the world, reminding you that you still matter, that your life, however slow, still deserves sweetness. Nobody warns you how quickly the world moves on. Someday your greatest fear is not falling or failing, but being forgotten, even by the people whose faces you can't forget. Your children's lives are loud and fast. Eat something, they say, handing you a plastic tray while scrolling on their phones. But what you want isn't just food. You want to taste the memory of belonging. You want someone to say, "This is for you," because you are still here, because you are still loved. By your 70s, your 80s, you learn. Nourishment is more than calories, more than vitamins. It is a ritual of remembering, of choosing each day to stay alive in ways no doctor can measure. You look for reasons to keep living, to keep holding on, and sometimes that reason is small and round and fits in the palm of your hand. There's a kind of ache you do not share. It comes in the evenings, when the house is quiet and the world outside your window goes soft and blue. You wonder if you are still needed, still seen. Sometimes the answer is no, or not today, or not in the way you hoped. But sometimes, someone brings you a bowl of fruit. Blueberries, so blue they stain your fingers. Apple slices, catching the afternoon light. You eat them, not because they will cure you, but because they remind you that you are still part of the world's story, that your body, battered as it is, still deserves care. There is science behind the story, of course. Blueberries slow the fog of forgetting. Avocados keep the heart steady. Pomegranates promise blood that still runs strong. Papayas make each meal easier, kinder to your stomach. Apples, crisp and ordinary, but steady as a friend. You might forget what you ate today, but your body remembers. Loyal in ways no one else sees, it turns these gifts into more mornings, where you wake and say, I am still here. I am still myself. You watch the world moving past your window, noticing how time changes not just your body, but your hungers, your hopes, and the secret dreams that once gave your days their shape. The house now echoes with the smallest sounds, a kettle whistling, the creak of a chair, the distant laughter of a neighbor's grandchild. You wonder if anyone truly notices the way a heart grows hungry, not just for food, but for the kind of care that quietly says, you still belong. Some mornings, you remember peeling an apple for your own mother, slicing fruit for children who have grown and gone. The ritual comes back in flashes, rinsing blueberries, the sharp tang of pomegranate on your fingertips, the smooth green of avocado, papaya melting softly on your tongue after lunch. These acts are the language of love you were never taught to speak out loud. You wonder if your children, rushing through their busy lives, could ever pause to ask what really matters in the end. It isn't vitamins or calories or even the extra years you might gain. It's the memory of hands. Yours, your mother's, your child's, sharing food, giving life, making silent promises that no one in this house will ever go hungry. The taste of fruit becomes a bridge across generations, a kind of quiet forgiveness for all the missed calls, the silent meals, the times you ate alone because everyone else was busy. You've learned that loneliness is not loud. It's the ache that settles in after the meal, when you clear the plates by yourself or hear laughter in another room and remember a time when it was yours. Sometimes, loneliness tastes like an empty fruit bowl, a reminder that what you truly need cannot be prescribed or bought. Still, you reach for the fruit, even on days when your hands shake, even on mornings you'd rather not get out of bed. You do it for the memory of who you were, and for the hope that one small act, slicing an apple, eating papaya, crushing pomegranate seeds between your teeth, will keep you present, refusing to disappear. Because somewhere deep down, the old hunger survives, the hunger to live, to be remembered, to matter. You think of Robert, the quiet man who never forgot a birthday, who now sometimes forgets your name, but always remembers his morning bowl of blueberries. His daughter, worried but devoted, started adding them to his breakfast. The change was slow, less confusion, a lighter mood, an easier smile. Science might call it antioxidants, but you know it's something deeper. A silent message, written in blue juice and sweet flesh, whispering, "You are not alone." Or, you remember Frank, tired of fighting blood pressure and swallowing pills. He traded his salty snacks for avocado toast. No miracles, just a slow return of strength and the gentle forgiveness of a body neglected for years. Advice is so easy for others to give. Eat better. Take your medicine. They forget that for the elderly, each change carries memories and longing. The taste of fruit is never just taste. It's history. It's hope. It's the secret wish that someone still cares enough to keep you alive a little longer. At the market, you see children racing past the fruit stand, ignoring the apples and pomegranates. You want to tell them, someday you'll wish you could go back, hold your mother's hand, eat together one more time. But they are young, and you have learned, sometimes painfully, that advice is wasted on those who are not yet afraid of being forgotten. So you choose your fruit with care, placing each one gently in your basket, gathering small daily promises. Today I will nourish myself. Today I will remember what it means to be alive and to be loved. Each bite is an act of defiance against emptiness, a quiet whisper to your body that you have not given up. Some evenings you cut an apple and think of everyone you have ever fed and everyone who ever fed you. The circle is never broken. It only grows quieter and more precious with each passing year. And as long as you keep reaching for these small acts of care, you will never truly be alone. There is a particular ache that comes with growing old, an ache no medicine can cure. It is the ache of remembering how much you once mattered, to those who needed you, to the rhythm of a home, to the world that seemed to turn just for you. You feel it most in the early morning, when the house is silent, when you sit with a piece of fruit, your hands a little less steady than before, and wonder if the world remembers how much it owes to the ones who came before. You think of Dorothy, who woke each day to stiff joints and a tired heart. Her children sent her pomegranate juice, not out of duty, but from some old tenderness they couldn't speak aloud. She doubted it would help. But over time, the ache in her knees softened, and she found energy she'd thought was gone forever. She walked farther, watched the evening settle outside her window, and sometimes caught herself humming. The red of pomegranate on her hands, proof that she was still here, still changing, still able to receive love. These stories are yours too, even if you never say them out loud. You don't believe in miracles, but you believe in the slow, quiet way life sometimes returns. A little more comfort, a little less pain, a little more reason to hope. Some days, the house is too quiet, the phone too still, your hands too empty. On those days, it is the smallest rituals that matter. Choosing a fruit, peeling and slicing, tasting something fresh, each act is a promise to yourself, I am still worth feeding. You remember Margaret, who never could quite get her digestion right. Papayas for her were more than comfort. They brought her back to the garden she once tended, to the colors and laughter of younger years. Eating papaya became a way to return, if only for a moment, to the girl she once was, free and unburdened, sure that time would never run out. Sitting at your own table, you realize the greatest gift you can offer yourself is permission to feel it all, to mourn what's gone, to celebrate what remains, your hands, your taste, your power to choose. You eat, not from duty, not because someone told you to, but because somewhere inside you is a memory of being cared for. And you deserve to care for yourself too, even now. There is a sacredness to these small acts, a gentle rebellion against what the world assumes about the elderly. You are not just surviving, you are still living, still choosing, still saying yes to one more day, one more taste, one more memory. Holding an apple, you remember the orchard, the heavy basket, the day bright with promise, how you once believed the future would stretch on forever. You took your health for granted, sure you'd always be strong and needed and seen. But time has a way of humbling even the boldest hearts. You learn that nothing is promised, that sweetness is fleeting, that each day is an invitation to begin again. So you do. You eat the fruit, you remember the stories, you forgive yourself for all the words you never said. Outside, life continues. Cars pass, children grow, old friends slip away. But you remain, a witness to your own resilience. You taste the fruit and think, this too is living, this too is enough. And as evening turns to night, you understand the truth you wish everyone knew. The elderly don't need you to take care of them. They need you to understand. When you say, I'm busy, your mother understands, but her heart doesn't.